I guess just tell us about yourself and your role at CHOC and kind of what gravitated you towards the mental health department.
Okay, well, my name's Michael. I'm a charge nurse over here at CHOC Children's Mental Health Unit. I've been a charge nurse over here since the beginning. So we opened up in 2018. Well, I was hired in August of 2017. Then we started training in January 2018. And we pretty much put the unit together, built the programming, and then we opened it up in April of 2018. So I've been doing that role here ever since. I think I gravitated towards mental health back in nursing school. I actually just felt really comfortable during that clinical. I felt like the staff on the mental health unit were a little bit more in line with how I saw myself in the nursing role. And that was really just not being so black and white all the time and everything has to be so serious all the time. I really felt like people coming into the hospital having the worst days of their life, we all need to be in the best of spirits for them. So when I went to my mental health clinical and nursing school, I just noticed all the staff were positive and, joking around amongst each other and with the patients. And it just seemed like a really communal thing. And so I felt very comfortable right away. So when I graduated nursing school, I just started looking for jobs on mental health units. And so I was an RN at a different hospital and then became a house supervisor there. Then I transferred to another mental health unit. And when I heard that CHOC Children's was opening up their unit, obviously I wanted to come here too. So submitted an application. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Cool. Great story. What have,
Oh, you go.
I was just going to ask, I lost my train of thought there for a second. What's the, so let's just talk about your experience working in the department and then different patients that you've come across while working at CHOC, like just kind of like your experience, basically just kind of maybe a few experiences that you've had with patients that you come across that has basically kind of that you made you kind of like more like hey, this is the type of work that I want to be doing for the long term, like that impacted you emotionally, or even something that just kind of like just strengthening your commitment to the mental health department in a way, like patients that you've come across. You could talk about some of that.
Okay. Actually, I think I have a pretty good answer for that.
Okay.
Because recently I've been thinking about this, not because I read the question, but I actually have been thinking about almost exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
I mentioned I've worked at previous inpatient psych places, and I often over at other places would feel like there were some moments of being immoral, as in sometimes reactions to things like self-harm or negative behaviors are a little bit too strong, and it just felt like why are we reacting to something like a kid scratching their arms or an adult that's in a really bad mood because of, I don't know, whatever mental health disorder they may have. But it was after coming to CHOC where we built this program from the ground up, and here we're very big on, we don't really write any rules down, where everything is case by case, everything is gray area, and we treat the patients and family that way. So we're very patient and hands-on approach, but then hands-off with our reactions towards, the things that we see. And I've noticed just in the last over 2.5 years working here with all these kids and families that sometimes you just have to be there in the moment with these patients. We have a lot of areas that are meant for if a kid is having a really hard time, instead of pointing out how negative the behaviors are, maybe they're just expressing emotion and getting it out, and they don't need me to tell them what not to do. They just need me to be sitting or standing in the hallway with them and validating their experience. Yes, this sucks. I get it. You're angry. I'm angry too. I'm sorry. You can get out whatever you need to get out, and I'll be here when you're done. And then maybe we can get snacks. And I find like that approach, which wouldn't always fly at more traditional hospitals where they would like, nope, this is bad, we need to stop this right now. But here, we kind of just live in the moment, no matter how bad or how good it is for our patients, no matter what they're going through. And we just write it out until they can come back down to a baseline. So that's how, I don't know how much you guys know about like inpatient mental health, but our seclusion and restraint and hands-on rates are almost zero. We pretty much never have to resort to that stuff here on this unit because of everything I just said. We just write it out with you. And it's a lot harder emotionally because, you know, if somebody's yelling or crying or flipping tables or saying horrible things to you, it can be very draining. But that's the point we try to get across with all of the new staff that come in here, is that we're gonna work hard on this unit, and we're going to be patient, and we're gonna have that gray area and just write it out with all of our patients, no matter what they're going through. We should never have to resort to, no, stop doing that, that's wrong. We don't do that here. So that for me, being able to see like we've kind of changed the course of how inpatient mental health is, and I know that how we do things here is starting to reach out into the community. I feel like I've found where I would like to have my career based. You know, I love being a charge nurse here because one of our staff calls us culture keepers, the people that are here from the beginning, and I consider myself one of the culture keepers because it's very important to me that every kid and every family and every staff member that comes through this place realizes that's how we operate. And as unfortunate as it is for kids to be in the hospital, especially on a locked inpatient unit, the fact that they feel safe here and they always tend to want to come back here if they're having a hard time again, instead of going somewhere else to a different unit, I think that says a lot about us. We get a lot of returners. And like I said, it's unfortunate that they're returning, but it says a lot that they want to come here rather than place somewhere else.
I see. Yeah. Do you think that has something to do with just basically just kind of like educating their caregivers or even like the community about like, you know, how things should be done and how you should approach certain situations, and then basically supplying them with the tools and like the knowledge to maybe do it when they're not with you guys anymore, where they're discharged? What do you feel like it's the next step for like communities to basically learn about things like this when people don't normally talk about it, right? You know, or like they have different ways of handling situations. They're used to telling people like your teachers and your mom and dads are usually normally gravitate towards like, no, you shouldn't do something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just kind of going to be like, it takes a lot of time to basically not only educate care for the kids, but also care for the parents and everyone else, like educate them as well, right? You know? So
yeah, I would say that's the majority of what we see.
Yeah.
You know? Because in adolescence and pediatrics, we don't have the largest population of psychotic kids that come in. Usually it's suicide or danger to others, or, you know, just severe depression, things like that. And I would say in almost all of those cases, comes down to the family and the environment and where they're staying and how rigid and black and white it can be, and traditions and all that type of stuff that families are uncomfortable breaking out of. So we're an acute unit, so our whole purpose is you are either a danger to yourself, you're a danger to others, or you're gravely disabled. You come onto our unit, it's supposed to be a shorter stay. We get you back to a baseline or as close to it as possible so that you're safe to discharge. And that's when the beginning starts. We're not even the beginning, you know, we're just trying to get you to a safe place. So that whole time that you're here, our social workers and therapists, psychology team, psychiatrists, they're all working on your aftercare and family education from the moment you come in. So what you mentioned about just re-educating the community, that's pretty much what they do. They have family meetings, they talk to the parents or legal guardians every day, whether they come in or on the phone. And it's just a lot of education. And I would say a lot of it has to revolve around just having a more open mind, especially these days. We get so many transgender kids, gender fluid, non-binary. I would say right now we have 18 kids, maybe 5 or 6 of them, maybe like a quarter of them have some type of like trans, gender fluid, non-binary. And I would say almost all of them have something like bisexual or pansexual. And this causes so much friction within their environments because the parents are struggling to have an open mind, or their schools or their teachers. And it just makes the kid feel like shit. And then no wonder they're depressed and they make these serious suicide attempts or statements. And then we have to make sure they're safe and then educate everyone in their environment to hopefully they get better, treated better, or at least more fairly when they leave here. But it all comes down to having a more open mind. You know, the days of it's just male, female, and you can only be like heterosexual and this is the way things are, those days are leaving pretty much. And it's going to take a long time, but we do as much family education as possible. And we make sure the kids know that. That's why a lot of them like to come back to us, because if they have a preferred pronoun or a preferred name, we completely go by that. We would never tell someone, well, we have to call you by your legal name, sorry.
They feel safe.
Yeah, they feel safe, exactly. And we work really hard to make sure they feel safe. We put their preferred names and pronouns everywhere, all over the unit, so that everyone knows this is what we're going by. Yeah. Having an open mind.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, that's something that, I'm still learning at the same time. It's just kind of, education is definitely number one thing. And you guys are doing that. So, and then that's what this whole campaign's about to here. We're trying to just kind of shine a light on certain subjects and topics that nobody really talks about, but then just trying to bring a much more happier and meaningful and impactful, like kind of like way for people to look at it. So then they're not just kind of like, it's not like meant, this whole thing is not meant to basically be a very like a sob story. It's supposed to be a very, very uplifting message that we're going to give to the community. And then in a way we're putting our branding behind it and just trying to like elevate the topic and everything. So then what you just said right now is just going to educate even more people that don't normally know that what's going on behind the scenes of what you guys do. And then so now like people have a better idea. So thanks for doing that, sharing that.
Yeah, even we're learning from just
we are.
It's like so amazing, you know, what you guys are doing. So
thanks. We do things very different on this unit. I've worked, like I said, 2 other psych places, and I worked at a couple other hospitals, but it's you guys have been talking to our director, Danny.
Yep.
She's pretty much the brainchild. She brought us all on. And, I'm super thankful to her, because the way we were practicing mental health before, it's just not right, and it's outdated, and we're trying to change that.